Okay, so what we might want to do as people who are surveying plants in an area is to establish what kind of habitat type we're in. So we can tell really on a broad scale, it's pretty obvious right now we're in what we classify as a prairie. So this is a lot of grasses, all herbaceous plants, really no trees within the close vicinity. And this would be a habitat that historically would have been influenced by grazing by large herbivores, fire regime, for example. Sometimes the soil type makes it so that it's harder for trees to grow in an area. So here we are, and of course the types of plants found in an area will influence the kinds of animals all the way up the trophic levels, so insects and then birds that eat insects and all the way up. So if you are looking to, say, preserve a special kind of habitat or a particular kind of animal that needs habitat, it'll be important to classify the habitat that you're in and decide kind of what sort of habitat quality we have, what sort of habitat resources we have as food and shelter products for animals that might use the area. So looking out in here, you kind of see some boundaries. There's a little bit of a line over to the left where we transition. Looks like a man-made line. It's a nice, clean, straight line. Maybe different mowing or different practices that have been influencing the differences in habitat there. Moving farther in this direction, we've got into some wetland. You can see the open water. And then before we get to the open water, there's a little bit of a shrub layer right there. And then moving over more to the right there, we get into the edge of this forest area. And then maybe we can pan around, there's forest behind. So we're in a prairie habitat that is delimited by the different factors of non-prairie. So if we wanted to survey this area, we could say, okay, we have a prairie, we want to find out what kind of plants we have in the prairie. We might be looking for a couple of objectives. Maybe we want just a list of all the plants that are here. Easy way to do that is to visit the site for a length of time, keep collecting what you find, different times of year, make a list and keep grabbing something that's not on the list yet until you've made basically an exhaustive list. If you've got the time for it, that's a really good first step because it gives you kind of a boundary on what you can expect to find in an area. A little bit finer level, we're going to do some surveying where we're trying to find out maybe across this habitat how evenly distributed are the different plant species. So from this distance, I can't really tell all the different plants that make up this area. So we want to get in there and just kind of find out if there's maybe a difference in from upland to lowland or east to west or anything you want to survey to see if there's a difference in the plants that you find, difference in their abundance, difference in the species that are there. And you can get at that by surveying. So surveying is a good way to find out by looking at a small part, kind of get an impression of the whole. We're going to do that.